What is going on, Life Fitness Coaches? Welcome to another episode of the Change Lives, Make Money Online Training Podcast. And today we're going to be talking about the dark side of personal development today. And what we're really discussing is this. I think that the reason that we get into develop self in the first place is because we want to become better, right? We want to become better. We want to, become better fathers, better leaders, better wives, better husbands, better, all of it. We just want to become better. And I think that pursuit in itself is like, I just want to be the very best version of myself is a healthy pursuit. But I also think that it comes with the dark side.
I think like what happens is a lot of people end up chasing perfectionism. And so no matter what level they achieve, no matter what milestone they hit, there's a certain level of it's not good enough yet.
Yeah.
It's not good enough yet. And so you're constantly chasing perfection.
Yeah. Love that. Completely agree. And so let's just say somebody's in that cycle of, they're constantly chasing perfection and it's not good enough. Like, what does that look like?
I think, what does that cycle look like?
Yep.
It looks like you're putting in the work, you're doing things that most people would be like, holy shit, this person is crushing it. And if you looked at yourself now versus a year ago, you're miles and miles and miles ahead of where you were, but it just doesn't feel good enough. You know when you're not working on self-development. You know when you're sleeping in every day, you're drinking every weekend, you're at the same job. You know that, right? Like, you know that feeling. You're like, I'm just not living the life that I'm supposed to live. I'm sure you felt it and I felt it. But I've also been that human that is working so hard on self-development, but no matter where I get, it's not good enough, right? And so I think it looks like not being able to recognize the amount of work that you're putting in, not being able to recognize the new levels that you're achieving and hitting, not being able to recognize that you've come a long way. And so it's this constant chase of trying to obtain this thing. But once you get that thing is, it's like, oh, I want this haircut so bad. And when I get this haircut, everything's going to be perfect. And then you get the haircut and you're like, I just want the boobs. You get the boobs. I just want the body. It's always something. You're always chasing something and you never actually take a moment to sit back and smell the roses.
And you never actually take a moment to say, I am enough. Because it's like, I think that in self-development, here's the thing, right? This happens in business. This happens in relationships. This happens in fitness. And I know this happens in fitness because I've done fitness competitions. And it's almost like when I'm doing a fitness competition, no matter how lean I get, I'm not lean enough. No matter how much money I make, it's not good enough. No matter how good my relationship is, it's not good enough. And I think that this stems from the core value / the core principle of feeling like I'm not enough.
Let's talk about what is enough. Let's talk about what does enough look like in order for you to feel like, hey, I'm enough. What is required? I have my answer.
It's interesting because I have some perspectives on that, because let's say somebody's let's say that we're just going to give an extreme example. Somebody's living on the street and they have got their car repossessed because they have an addiction and they're at rock bottom. And that person wants to listen to this podcast and is like, I'm enough. That's not true. That's not true because you can't, this is my perspective and everybody has a different perspective, but this is my perspective is I truly believe that first things first, being just a human being on this planet is a gift. I want to start there. But I also think that being a human being on this planet, whether or not you are working on self. Okay. So if you and I think that a lot of people, when it comes to, deserving success and feeling worthy of success and feeling like they are worthy of good things, I think that when people are working on themselves, I think that those people that are working on themselves that don't give themselves credit constantly feel like they're not enough. And this could come from a variety of places. Maybe their, dad didn't give them the attention that they needed when they were a kid, or maybe their mom never gave them the validation, or maybe they just grew up in an unstable environment. So they felt like their existence wasn't enough. And I think that honestly, I personally think that's what drives a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people. They come from chaotic backgrounds and then they start working on themselves because they don't want to be in the situation that they were in. They want to become better. But I think that the whole concept of feeling like you're enough for success, and this is where the dark side is are you working on yourself because you love yourself and you want to get better? Or are you working on yourself because you hate yourself and you're trying to escape the old version of you?
It's really important too, right? What are you using to measure as enough? Because, for example, you're saying if people have not got the validation, maybe they need it from their parents, they're never told they're doing a good job, they're never told, like, hey, you're beautiful, then they're constantly seeking other people's validation to be enough. But if you're constantly seeking someone else's validation to tell you that you're enough, you'll never feel enough. The feeling isn't something that's generated from someone else, it's something that's generated from within.
I agree. And I think that there's like, so like the feeling of being enough is generated from within 100%. Because we're talking about the dark side of personal development. And the dark side of personal development is that you never feel like you're good enough. And so if we think about, okay, like how do we get to the root cause of this? I think that it's not as easy as you starting to portray these positive affirmations in the mirror and say like, I am enough. I am doing good enough. I am enough. Like, I don't think it's that easy because I think, based on your actions, whether or not you are putting in the work. Like, and my definition of like based on your actions is like, are you following through on the things you say you want to do? Like, are you going to the gym when you say you want to go to the gym? Are you waking up when you say you want to wake up? Are you working on the goals that you say you want to have? Like, if you're doing all of those things, then I think you go to the mirror and you say like, you are enough. I am proud of you. You're doing fucking great. But I also think the feeling of not being good enough is actually, it's almost like a compass in some way, shape, or form in regards to like, if you feel like you're not fucking doing your shit, you feel like you're not on top of your shit, like you have that feeling, I think step number one is to do an honest self-assessment. Like, am I actually doing everything that I could possibly do to become the best version of myself? And a lot of people, when they do that assessment, are going to say, actually, I don't think a lot of people are going to say yes. I think a lot of people would say no. So if you say no, then use that feeling to be like, okay, like, what could I do better? And how could I improve as a person so that I can start to feel the sense of internal pride? Because then if you start to feel a sense of internal pride, like I wake up on time, I go to the gym when I say I'm going to go to the gym, I'm eating my healthy food. Like, then when I start saying those things to myself, I am enough, I deserve this, I'm worthy, I actually can feel it because I have that sense of pride knowing that I'm working towards my goals.
I think the only thing I would add on to that is what about the things that are unsaid? Because a lot of people have a lot of shame and fear around what they actually want, but it's that feeling when they go to bed at night and they look at their partner and they're like, this is wrong. It's that feeling that they go to bed at night where they're like, I want to lose weight, but they never actually say it because they're scared of the commitment. Do you know what I mean? And so I think the things that you say, like, I'm going to wake up to my alarm, certainly that holds a lot of value. You say you're going to wake up and then you don't wake up. That is letting yourself down. But I think a lot of people are lying to themselves and they're saying, I don't want to lose weight. I'm happy with being 100 pounds overweight and like fucking eat the cake. And you only live once. And when they go to bed at night or they look at themselves ass naked in the mirror, they're like, I don't like the way I look. I'm embarrassed to go to the beach. I'm embarrassed to take my shirt off. And so listen to the things that are unsaid. And the things that are unsaid are the feelings and emotions that come up because those are attached to something as well. So it's not just about you saying I'm going to do this and following through. That at the end of the day is so important, but it's also about like, stop fucking lying to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that what we're like personal development, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that what we're all chasing is like contentment, peace, happiness, positive sense of self-worth. I think that's why we start to develop ourselves, isn't it? It's like, I want to be a better version of me.
A deeper connected life experience.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah.
That's all it's are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spend time together.
Yeah.
Feel deeply connected to you. My life experience with you is better. So to sum it all up, we're all just looking to like enjoy this life experience.
Yeah. So this is the thing, right? So I think that having this dark sense or this feeling in your body that you are not enough, you're not good enough. I think having that dark sense and that dark feeling, I actually pull energy from that. And so I think that there's a certain period of your personal development journey that you absolutely must pull energy from that so that you can be honest with yourself and be like, let yourself be ashamed. Like when I was a drug addict and I overcame my addiction, it wasn't like, I'm going to be sober. I'm so positive. I'm so happy. I'm like, I'm a fucking loser. Like, dude, no, I was like, I'm a loser. I'm a drug addict. I'm at fucking rock bottom. I can't believe I let myself get to this place. I'm so disgusted with myself that I'm going to make a change. And so like, that was the energy that I used to transform my life is like, it wasn't positive rah bullshit. It was actually the dark energy. But so and the weight loss journey, if you think about like anybody that I can think about that's had a dramatic transformation, Cole DeSilva was the same way. Percocet addiction, rock bottom, sniffing fucking drugs off of beams. And then like, he was like, I fucking hate the person that I am right now. I need to make a radical change in my life. And so I'm going to. And so I think that is where change, you can really channel some dark energy at points to make a radical change in your life. I think the problem with most people though, is that quote unquote critical consciousness the one that's like, you're not doing good enough. You're not doing this. You're not doing this. I think that a lot of people don't work on that as they're working on self. So it's like, okay, I'm going to radically change my life because I no longer want to be a drug addict and I no longer want to be sniffing drugs off of fucking beams as a Percocet addict. Okay, cool. So I'm going to get sober. I'm going to get clean. I'm going to get healthy. And as I start getting sober, clean, and healthy, I also think we need to start changing the way that we're talking to ourselves. Like, hey, I know that you're going through a really hard time right now, but you're fucking working on yourself. Like, and I'm proud of you. And starting to give ourselves credit as we're putting in the work, we start giving ourselves credit. And I think that where most people fuck up is like, they start giving themselves credit before they put in the work, right? And they're like, I'm going to lose this weight. I'm going to get rid of this addiction. I'm going to change my life.
Show me.
Yeah.
Watch me. I don't care about the words that come out of your mouth. Don't say watch me.
So it's like, it's funny. Whenever I get into an argument with our 16-year-old daughter, Haley, she's always like, I promise I'll never do this again. I'm always like, your actions speak louder than your words ever will. I literally said to her, I'm like, your words mean nothing to me. Show me your actions. Your actions mean everything to me. So, and I think that that's because that's what life is, right? Life is not based off of the words that you say. Life is based off of the actions that you take. And so if I'm like, I can say whatever the fuck I want. I can say I want to be a fucking quadrillionaire. I could say I want to be in the best shape of my life. I can, yeah, it's like, I can say all these things, but like when I look at my actions are going to determine the result that I get. So when it comes down to self-development and personal development, I think where a lot of people go wrong is that they're working on self, but they never feel like they're good enough and they never address the critic internally. So I think that's one pathway that people take because they're like constantly working on themselves. And even though they're getting up on time, they're going to the gym, they're doing all these things, they're not actually giving themselves credit for those things. And so they constantly feel like shit. They constantly feel that inner critic in the back of their head. And that's where I think the dark side of personal development actually is. Because I think that if you are actively working on yourself, you're going to the gym, you're waking up on time, you're doing the work that's necessary. And during that time, you're giving yourself credit. You're like, I'm fucking proud of you for getting up in the morning. I'm fucking proud of you for eating your healthy food today. I'm fucking proud of you for showing up even when you were sick. It's like when you give yourself that permission to give yourself credit as you're on the journey, I think that's what makes a personal development journey productive instead of destructive.
Like my perspective is at the end of the day, like we are all enough just because we are here. And that's not to say that enough equals complacent, enough equals I don't want more, enough equals I can't be better, right? Like enough is just like you are a human being and you're here for a reason. So I think at the end of the day, every single one of us is enough. But I think the space that a lot of people miss or some people get stuck in is when you embark on a self-development journey, like you were saying, there's a certain level of anger that you need to feel towards yourself.
Yep.
Because anger is a very powerful emotion. And if you're not mad or you're not sick of your own shit, then it's going to be so easy for you to stay the same. If it doesn't irritate you, if you're not pissed off that you're on the streets or that you're a drug addict or you're not living up to your potential, then why would you change?
You wouldn't.
Because you're okay with it. So the phase where you're angry, and maybe that self-talk throughout that period, the anger phase of self-development isn't like, maybe the anger phase of self-development, maybe you aren't speaking super.
I agree.
Maybe you are, but people get stuck there. And so that's a phase of your self-development journey. I'm sick of my own shit. I
want to pause. Can I jump in on that? Because that's a phase of your self-development journey and you can talk negatively to yourself in order to do the fucking work.
Exactly. And so I think like people get stuck there. And so maybe they start working on themselves, but they're operating from a place of hate.
Yeah, agreed.
And they think that because it works.
Revenge body. Me too.
We're all looking to have this better life experience, right? Where I started to like, this is no longer working.
Dude, same.
Maybe I'm losing the weight, but I don't feel good.
Dude, same.
I have a rocking body and still look in the mirror that I don't like myself.
Yeah.
I'm not enough. So it's like, you need to know, like you need to stop being angry.
Yeah.
And then last thing, because I know you probably want to jump into is like, when you say like you are enough, that doesn't mean you're saying, I don't want more. Like something I talked about today in my community is like, life is like Mario Party, okay? Like, or Super Mario Brothers, right? Where you start Super Mario Brothers, but at the end, there's like this level 12, and you get everything, you get this big party, but life is like that, but it's not, there's never ending. And so there's always more. You can always be better. You can always do more. That's like, I don't care if you're Elon Musk or Ed Millett or Jay Shetty or whoever the fuck you look up to that's doing really, really well right now, there's more for them. Right? And so think about life as like, you're a Super Mario brother. And I said, I'm going to do a YouTube where I'm like, I dress up as Mario for a week and I'm like, life's a game. Because say I decided to go to yoga today. That's like me hitting my head on those little blocks and a mushroom coming up and me being like, power, like, right? Or you hit that little block and it's a poisonous mushroom. So you decide to go and drink for a weekend, right?
Yep.
So like, I think there comes, what I'm trying to say is I think there's a space where self-development can almost be fun and it can be light and it can be like, I'm enough right now, but like, I'm fucking going to level fucking 500. And when I get to level 500, I'll go to fucking 2000. You know, like it's always this constant evolution, but it doesn't have to be heavy and it doesn't have to be really hard.
Yeah, I like that. I have the same perspective. I also view life as a video game. And I view it like every time I'm going to work on my content, I view myself as like going, like I used to play RuneScape, which is fucking nerdy. You guys probably won't know what that is. That's completely fine. It's like this online game where you basically level up all your skills. And I would just go out into the forest on this RuneScape game and I would chop wood for like 8 hours and I would just level up my wood skills. And I was a fucking G. But I feel like I do that with life. Every time I do content, I'm like, I'm just fucking putting in the fucking reps to level up the skill. Anyways, I want to talk quickly about the anger phase. I want this podcast to change somebody's life. I think that so many of you listening to this podcast right now are angry at self, but you never fucking do anything about it. And so you listen to this podcast and you say to yourself, like, yeah, you're right. I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. I'm not in shape. I'm pissed off. I'm not in the best shape ever. I'm pissed off that somebody else has a body that I want. I'm like angry, like fuck. And then you just sit there angry, but you're not just angry at yourself. You're angry at everyone. You're angry at the world. You're angry at at the person that you see online that's posting pictures in their bikini because they have the body that you want and they're confident. You're angry at the person that fucking crosses the street that has a tighter skirt than you would wear because you're not comfortable in your body. You're angry at the person that you see on social media that's massively successful. And instead of looking internally and being like, you're angry at you and do something about it. So many people fucking just sit in this angry phase. Or they're like, and like, they're just annoyed at life. And listen, you will know this is you if you have a short fuse, period. If it seems like you just have a short fuse and everything pisses you off and like you're easily frustrated, you're easily overwhelmed, you're easily agitated, you know, like that's you. You're the angry person. It's fucking you. And so if that's you, be angry and then be angry at yourself and then use that anger at self to make a change. Because guys, you don't have to live your life like that. You don't have to live your life like that. Like I did do that. Like, and I've done that angry shit for a long fucking time. Like I still can tap into that, but that's not the energy that I live from. Like I remember when I broke up with one of my girlfriends, and this was when I was building my fitness business. And I had always talked about how I was going to get my business to $10,000 a month, whatever. And then when we broke up, I was like, I promise you, I'm going to make sure that this woman never forgets my name. And that was literally the energy that I built my business with. And I remember when I hit $10,000 a month, I was like, when I hit 10K, I was like, holy fuck, I haven't thought about her in 3 months. But that was the energy that I used to fucking build it. Dude, that's how I built Pizza Domination. It was the same thing. I went through a major breakup. And when I went through that breakup, I was like, I'm going to make sure this person never fucking forgets my name. And then that was the energy that I used to build it. And then as Pizza Domination grew, it's like, I no longer, like, I don't show up with that fucking energy thinking about that person anymore. That was just the energy that I used to transform. And then once that energy no longer served me because I was working on my business and getting fulfillment from actually doing the fucking thing, it's like, it no longer served me. So I released it and I let it go.
Understanding that it no longer serves you, that I think a lot of people
they
hold so tight.
I held onto it tightly too, and I think the reason that I did is because it's powerful. Like when you're pulling from that like fuck you place, you're pulling from that like I'm so angry at you or angry at self. Like it's powerful, and so a lot of people have a hard time letting that go because that's where they got their power from. That's where they transformed their life. And for me, it was like when I was no longer angry anymore, I was like, well, then who am I? You know. I'm not angry anymore. I was like, who am I? And then there was this like identity. So it's like, that's where the internal work comes. But like in terms of self-development, you guys, like there's just levels, you know? I think Kirsten talked about the video game aspect for self-development. And I have the same perspective. Like I truly do think that there's just levels to this shit, right? There's like, okay, we're doing really well right now. And I'm really proud of us. I'm really happy with the level that we're at. I'm really grateful. But like somebody like Gary Vaynerchuk fucking is real. He's a human being on this planet and he's 47 years old. I'm 33 years old. So I know for a fact, if I just keep going for the next 10 years, 11 years, I'll catch up to him and be better. So why would I not pursue that? Like, why would I not pursue greatness? If somebody like Ed Milet exists on this planet and he's shown what human potential looks like at full speed, why would I not pursue that? If somebody like Tony Robbins has come and shaken up the fucking industry, I'm younger than Tony Robbins. Why don't I chase that? And I might spend my entire life chasing my potential, but like, I want to like the fact that God gave me life, the fact that God gave me breath, the fact that I got to wake up this morning, like I believe it's my responsibility to chase the very fucking best version of myself every single day. That's like facts. That's how I live. And as I'm chasing that version of myself, I'm like, thank you, God, for this life. Thank you, God, for this life. So it's like, I come from gratitude in terms of self-development. Like, I think the dark side of personal development is you're not grateful. You're not happy. You're not like proud of self. You're only working on yourself because you hate yourself. I think the productive side of self-development is like, I love myself. I love my fucking life. I love where I'm going. I love what I'm doing. I love how I show up. I love who I am. I love the way I look. I love the way I feel. I'm going to continue to work on myself because I love myself so much. That's productive, not destructive. It's 2:22. Make a wish.
And I think just to wrap it up would be that feeling of like jealousy, because I've had that so many times where I'm like, this bitch has the body that I want. And instead of getting the body that I want, I would shove my face being like, why does she have better genetics than me? But I think like one of the cool things about human beings is that we are different. How boring would it be if there was just 20 million Brian Marks? It would no longer be fun being yourself.
I disagree. It'd be great. I agree.
So mad if everybody was me. Everybody looked like me. They walk like me. They talk like me. Like why the world is so interesting and it's so special is because you're not that person. And so you can pull inspiration from that bad bitch at the gym that you're like, her body is everything that I've always wanted. You can get that body and you can get more, but it's going to look different for you. And that's the best thing. You can say that it'd be great to have, you would hate it. He would hate it.
The world needs more Brian Marks, I'm just saying.
More, but you wouldn't have a business if everyone was Brian Mark. You wouldn't have a business. You'd have no one to pay you. Why would they pay you? Because they would be, you know what I mean? Nobody wants a world full of themselves.
I hear you. I'm on board with that. I'm just fucking with you. I'm literally just
having everyone be Brian Mark would be the literal best. And I'm like,
this is okay. I want to jump in for a second. So you said something that like kind of caught my attention that I want to grab onto. You said you wouldn't have a business because people wouldn't pay you because there's 1,000 Brian Marks. Guys, can I tell you why I love self-development?
Yeah.
This is why I love self-development.
Yeah.
Want to know why I love self-development?
What?
Because 99.9% of motherfuckers aren't willing to put in the work. And because 99.9% of motherfuckers aren't willing to put in the work, it's actually very easy to be successful. You want to know how to be successful? You're consistent every fucking day, 365 days of the year for the next year, 2 years, guaranteed you make it. Guaranteed. Guaranteed you make it in fucking business. If you want to start a painting business, guaranteed. Guaranteed you make it in fucking fitness. If you're consistent for 365 days of the year, for the next 12 months, guaranteed you're successful. Yeah. You're consistent in a business. You post every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year for the next year, guaranteed you're successful. You want to know why I love personal development? Because 99.9% of motherfuckers don't have what it takes to just be consistent. Just be consistent.
That's why I love I love the business that we're in because it helps humans become high level people. And I like that. Like I like seeing, and it doesn't matter. You help 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 99% of the world right now is living a mediocre life at best. They don't wake up excited or grateful or have any sort of structure within their life that gives them fulfillment. And they're just same shit, different day, same shit, different day. That is 99% of people. And like every time you help someone like become their best self, obviously the action comes from them. So it's like, it's not us. We're just helping guide them. But you, in a sense, make the world a better place.
I agree.
Because though their gifts and their presence is different than your presence, their presence being powerful like it's supposed to be is going to change the world. And so many people just never tap into that. And it's like, for me, it's hard. Like, I feel like I'm kind of a bit of be a bit of an asshole. Like I can be like when I see someone that like almost angers me, I'm just like, oh, these like frustrate me. Like even in my DMs, okay, I'm just gonna say this. I honestly don't care. And I'm like, you'd be like, don't say that in your DMs. Someone was like wanting my food routines. So we're gonna get them set up on a 7-day free trial. When you do a 7-day free trial, you have to put in your credit card, right? Mm-hmm. But you can literally cancel the 7-day free trial. Like literally, like you just go in there, you'll never get charged a thing. So you can go in, you can take the programs, you can do whatever. Someone's like, I don't ever want to pay for an app. And I'm like, that's your problem, is you're not willing to invest in yourself. So you're telling me you're unhappy. You don't like the way that you look. You lack confidence. You can't keep up with your kids, but it's not worth even a 7-day free trial where you have to put in your information like that. It's like.
I think it goes deeper than that. So I agree with that statement, but I think it goes deeper than that. It's the fact that you literally are so sick of your situation. You're so frustrated. You're so overwhelmed, et cetera, but you're not willing to take any action. No action. No action.
Want to be like,
no action. But I want to get jacked. But I want to build a business. But I want to fucking do all these things. I want to take care of my family. But no action. I take no action. I watch videos online. I listen to podcasts and I do fucking nothing. That's me. Absolutely fucking nothing. Nothing.
sets, but honestly, like I'm unsending this free link. You're not welcome to do a free trial on my app. But I wasn't nice. I just think it's so like I'm like, what? Like you just like open up and here's a free trial. Had someone said, I don't have a credit card right now, and this is really important to me, and I really want to try it, I would have fucking set them up. It was the attitude that was responding to me. I'm like, I don't want you. Anyways.
I hear you.
Yeah. So it's like, I just like, it's frustrating.
Don't fuck with Kirsten and her DMs.
I'm starting to be a lot more savage. Even remember one time you're like, why are you saying that? And I'm like, I'm annoyed at people. And the people that like see that and will actually receive it, they're like, thank you in the end. Like I've had some clients that are like, Kirsten reached out to me at just the right time. And she like almost was like, you need this, you need this, you need this. And a year later, they're like completely different. So it's like, I'm done being Mrs. Nice Girl. Like
it's so funny because I feel like in my content, I'm always like, I'm very aggressive in my content. I'm like, I'm just very aggressive in my content. When it comes to my DMs, my rule is I just like always keep my cool regardless, no matter what. So it's like, if somebody's like, yeah, it's just not the right time. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, come back to me when you're ready. I just don't fucking care. But I appreciate your perspective. I understand why you do it. I'm pretty like, I'm like, fair enough. Yeah. I've been a little bit more direct in those situations. Anyways, we're getting off topic. Guys, this is about personal development. Okay. This is my fucking hack. Okay. If you're listening to this podcast, I need you to listen closely. Fucking turn off your fucking distractions. Pay attention to these words that I'm about to say, because if you do these things, this thing that I'm going to tell you right now, I promise you, you will be more successful than 99.9% of people on this fucking planet. Okay. First things first, be consistent every fucking day. How many days of the week? 7 days a week. Why should you not take days off? Because your anxiety doesn't take days off. Your depression doesn't take days off. Your landlord doesn't take days off. Your bills don't take days off. So why the fuck should you on your personal development journey? I literally work on myself every day. It doesn't mean go to the gym every day, but I always work on self. And like, I always work on self. And like, if I work on myself 7 days of the week, then I know when the weekend comes around and my homies want to get fucked up, I'm like, sorry, I work on myself 7 days a week. That no longer serves me and is no longer productive for the life that I want to build. So I'm going to say no to that because I work on myself 7 days of the week. So again, work on yourself 7 days of the week, 365 days of the year for how many years? As many years as it fucking takes to become successful. Then as you are working on self and you are putting in the work and you were like putting in the reps and you're starting to see progress and you're starting to see gains, give yourself credit, yo. Give yourself credit. Be like, I'm a bad bitch. If you're a girl, if you're a guy, you don't want to say that because that'd be weird. You can be like, I'm a yas queen, yas king. Like, give yourself credit. And so like the ultimate personal development journey, in my opinion, is one where you literally work on yourself 7 days a week. Even if it's going for a 30-minute walk on Sunday, you're always working on yourself 7 days of the week. And as you are doing these things, you are giving yourself credit and you are giving yourself pride and you are giving yourself love. Like, I'm so proud of you, B-Mark, for getting up on Sunday and doing the fucking work. I'm so proud of you that like, no matter what, you always show up. I'm so proud of you that you always give more than you get. I am proud of you. And as you're working on self and you're proud of self and you continue to work on self, I promise you, your potential is fucking unlimited.
Any fucking man.
Bars.
I dropped.
That is all. I hope you have the best fucking day of your entire life. If you want to learn from me, go to the Change Lives Make Money Online Training Podcast or the Real Brian Mark on Instagram or Brian Mark on YouTube. How about you?
Follow me on Facebook, Instagram. It's the Real Kirsten Mark across the board. I am verified. You'll know it's me, and I would love to see you on my pages.
Have the best fucking day of your entire adult life, and I will talk to you guys in the next episode. Peace. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Hopefully you got some value. If you did, and you want to learn more about how me and my team can help you scale your online fitness business to $10,000 a month, DM me 10K on Instagram at TheRealBrianMark for more information, and I'll reach out to you to see if I can help you grow an online coaching business.